workers here at the Grand River Assembly Plant are out late walking the picket lines as negotiations between GM and the UAW continue, and the latest talks resulted in the automaker asking union workers to get COBRA health care. Yes, police say the suspects fled the scene as soon as they arrived, and they tell me it happened here at Ferris Park on the city's west side, and police say they responded to reports of shots fired just after 7:30. And here is one of the trouble spots on South Park Street where the pothole is big and the brick is exposed. In another tweet this afternoon, President Trump said the U.S. will be reimbursed for the cost of a border wall over time by other countries. And take a look at the fire damage that is displacing families out of their homes. And the Jackson Fire Department is telling News 10 police is now investigating this case as an act of arson. 4 feet wide and 2 feet deep. That's the size of this massive crater, and neighbors are telling me that it started as a small pothole that gradually got worse. Today, the Michigan law enforcement officers gathered to unveil a memorial monument to honor the lives of fallen officers. And Democrats for Life is hosting a pro-life conference in East Lansing today, and it's getting the attention from pro-choice supporters. Now, I spoke with advocates on both sides of the issue to discuss their views on abortion. This all stems from a case involving former Central Michigan University student body president Ann Elliott, who was charged with sexual assault. Former Assistant AG Brian Kaloje is accused of having a sexual relationship with one of the victims in that case. Family members arrived on scene and immediately rushed past crime scene investigators to try to find out what happened to their loved one, and understandably so, they did not want to talk on camera, but Lansing police officers are telling me that they found a woman dead. And the fruit that keeps the doctor away is said to be covered in about 100 million bacteria, but there's no need to worry. Researchers say many of the bacteria found on apples are good for you. And the endangered reptile, the crocodile, is making a comeback. The reptiles found a new breeding environment in Florida. Fox News' Phil Keating has our story. And police say the status of that third victim is still unknown, and they are still working to find out who is responsible for the crimes. Tonight, I spoke with a number of employees here at the Delta Assembly Plant, and they're telling me that they hope an agreement is made, although it's highly unlikely. In just 24 hours, the current contract between the UAW and GM is set to expire, and if no deal is made or if the current contract fails to get extended, then workers might walk off and strike. Some of the UAW's demands are members getting job security, benefit protections, and a base wage increase. Tensions started to rise between the union and GM back in November when the automaker announced plans to idle 4 unknown plants. And if an agreement is not reached by the deadline and a strike happens, it will affect 5,000 local workers, and employees are expected to get paid $250 per week from the union's strike fund. Reporting in Delta Township, Cryss Walker, News 10.
If there's any way that we can help these victims, that's really what this, to me, that's what this is about. I want them to come forward. I want them to let us know so that we can take care of this, try to bring some healing if we can.
The Diocese of Lansing revealed the names of 17 priests who have been found to be credible child sex abusers over the course of 3 decades.
I think this is a good step by the diocese to name these individuals. I'm sure that took a lot of thinking on their end to make that determination, but I think, when we can say we know these individuals were abusers and we're holding them accountable publicly, that is a good step to move forward with healing.
Elizabeth Abdunar is a lawyer and a board member of the Firecracker Foundation, an organization that advocates for survivors of sexual abuse.
It can be very, very painful. They will experience some of the same emotions again that they may have experienced the first time they were going through the abuse. They feel a lot of shame quite often. Many survivors say that they feel it was their fault, even if they were children when it happened.
Abdunar says trauma resulting from abuse by people of authority can cause extreme cases of guilt and emotional anguish.
I think that's another additional level of trauma for these individuals that experienced abuse, because their faith community is supposed to be a place that they can be safe.
The diocese confirmed 66 boys, 4 girls, and 3 other unknown children were sexually abused in the church dating back to the 1960s. The diocese says several allegations are still pending and more names could be added. In Lansing, Cryss Walker, News 10. Lansing resident Betsy Riley says her Thursday afternoon stop at Meijer was all but pleasant.
Lansing police officers surrounded him, pulled a taser on him, used a chokehold technique to pull him to the ground, and then ultimately escorted him from the building.
Riley captured this video when the commotion started to unfold. She claimed she was told by staff not to record.
My only other question would be to Meijer about their policies in this area. I was told repeatedly to put my phone down and stop filming by a Meijer employee. The same Meijer employee asked a man who, I don't know his affiliation, but a large, beefy man, to stand in front of me with the express purpose of blocking my ability to film that.
Lansing police say the 46-year-old man seen on camera is banned from the location. When officers responded to the trespassing call, they asked the man to leave and he refused. And police is telling News 10 Meijer security told dispatch that the shopper is known to steal items and switch price tags on products.
There are approximately 10 police officers escorting him. Why did you use 10 police officers when 2 would have done just fine?
Riley is defending the man, saying she saw the whole incident and believes the force didn't fit the offense.
I think that it mattered that this man was black, it mattered that he was big, and I think that they treated him in a way that is consistent with the national narrative and how the police are treating people of color.
In Lansing, Cryss Walker, News 10. El Haj Malik El Shabazz Academy has a 25-year history in the city of Lansing, a charter school with an African-centered curriculum for roughly 300 students. But the future of Shabazz is unknown.
It's a bedrock of the community. It educates the children who are most at need.
Central Michigan University has been the Academy's authorizer since 1995. CMU sent this letter back in May stating the Academy's charter contract expires June 30th and will not be renewed.
Every charter school has to have another school to authorize it, a university, a college, a junior college, or an intermediate school district.
CMU released this statement to News 10, citing the decision is due to fiscal, operational, and academic reasons. The university claims the academy is placed at the bottom 5% in the state.
MDE set up a system and a partnership to aid us, a 3-year partnership, that in 3 years we could bring our scores up to the average based upon the resources that they would give.
Board members say the school was not given adequate time to make improvements, claiming the university's decision was, quote, rushed to judgment.
You've got an authorization process coming in June. You've just signed a 3-year contract with the state of Michigan to improve your scores. After 1 year, CMU says no.
Administrators are now responding with a notice of opposition and legal challenge. Shabazz Academy is currently in search of a new authorizer. In Lansing, Cryss Walker, News 10.